We're going to talk about the history of Fountain Hill schools. The beginnings occurred between 1896 and 1914. So gather around, folks, and let me tell you about the humble beginnings of Fountain Hill School. It all started back in 1896 when the first organized school was set up in a one-room frame building. This here building was located right in front of where old C.G. Mears store stands today. Most of us probably know that as Boyd Nichols' store. That's no longer there. It hadn't been there in a long time. The first teacher was a fellow by the name of Walter Haley. That school was located about where the present Fountain Hill National Bank of Crossett branch is located. Now, everybody knows that little red building there across from Boyd Nichols and across the street from Post Office. Maybe a different street there, but you get what I'm saying. In 1914, a generous man named Frank Daniels gave the district 2 acres of land to build a new school. And that's how it all began, folks. There were some trials and tribulations. Some confusing trials and tribulations, too. Talking about 1917 to 1919. And now in 1917, tragedy struck when the one-room school building burned down. For a spell, classes were held in the Methodist Church. Several years after 1917, Mr. W.G. Ross testified under oath at a criminal trial that the old schoolhouse building was still standing as late as November 1918. That being the case, classes in the church would have been for a very short time as the new 2-story school was built in 1919. In 1919, a man named V.S. Bright, one of Arkansas's first vocational agriculture teachers, came to Fountain Hill as superintendent and agriculture teacher. He persuaded the district to buy additional land, and the smaller school districts within the area consolidated with Fountain Hill. A 5-room, 2-story frame building was erected on the present site. The first graduating class of Fountain Hill High School in 1920 had only one member. Miss Earla Brown. But according to the 1921 graduating class, Miss Brown did not graduate in 1920. The 1921 class said they were the first graduating class that had to complete the 11th grade. Apparently that was graduating at the time. Growth and expansion, 1930 to 1940. Come 1930, the brick school building, now in use, that was in 1947, was built along with a frame gymnasium and a joint agriculture and home economics building. The writer that wrote this history 52 years ago apparently thought that some history is best not written. So it will be left for the future generation to explain why this 1930 building was 10 feet short of plans on the south side. This 1930 building was replaced by the present building in 1974. The bricks from the old building were used to veneer Eden Baptist Church, located about 4 miles south of Fountain Hill on Highway 133. In 1938, the present agriculture building was built, and in 1940, the present home economics cottage was erected. Both were Works Progress Association projects, WPA, modernization and memories. By 1947, the district was advertising for bids for a modern gymnasium, which it hoped to build that summer. The high school graduated a class of 20. The modern gymnasium mentioned above is still in use, but a much larger one was started in 1995. The school acted as its own contractor to reduce cost and completed the building in 1997. Anecdotes and reflections. Now let me share some stories and reflections from the folks who lived through these times. There was a young woman, 21 years of age and 5 months pregnant at the time, who remembered the summer of 1930 very vividly. A woman who ran a boarding house at Fountain Hill decided to take a trip to Mexico and persuaded the young woman to tend her boarders while she was away. She recalled 3 of the boarders who made her work lighter by not being too demanding and acting in a gracious and gentlemanly manner. These men were named Peck, a father and his two sons, who were the brick masons, part of the subcontractors on the school project. She admired their character and their work, seeing their speed and the quick completion of the building almost daily. She went on to be involved with the school during the life of that building. She had children that were schooled in that particular building for 24 years. She felt a personal loss when the building was demolished. And there you have it, folks. A thorough telling of the history of Fountain Hill School. A Fountain Hill School. Fountain Hill School. Fountain Hill School. Fountain Hill School. Fountain Hill School.